All right, so we are going to be working on solving and graphing again. Okay, so when we're doing this, make sure that you guys are working on the problems kind of slowly. Don't go too quickly through them. Okay, and also don't forget multiplication or division by negative numbers is something that makes you switch the signs. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start distributing with this one. This is not a compound inequality. This is just a normal inequality. In other words, it only has one problem for you to do. Okay, compound means you have two. So we're going to go ahead and distribute that. And I'm going to put 20 here, less than or equal to 8x minus 4. Now remember, when you distribute, try to take your time with it because distribution, it's very easy to mess up. Sometimes people just distribute the 4 times the 2x and then they forget to carry it over to the minus 1. So just take your time. Now, I have my 8x all by itself. What should I move, the 20 or the 4 or what? The 4, so what do I do to it? Just add it, right? Do the opposite. So plus 4, that's going to give me 24 less than or equal to 8x. Okay, and I only got one option now, right? 8 times x, that's what it says. So in order to get rid of times, I got to divide. So divide by 8. And we get 3 less than or equal to x. Okay? Now remember what I told you guys about that. If you don't like the way that looks, go ahead and flip it around. That's fine. Okay? Instead of the 3 being on the left side, let's put it on the right side. Instead of the x being on the right side, let's put it on the left side. Notice how your inequality right here, this inequality is pointing at the 3. So when I flip everything, it has to keep pointing at that 3. So that's why it looks like this. Okay? I didn't flip it because I divided by a negative or multiplied by a negative. I just flipped it because I flipped everything else. Okay? So there's my first answer, or my only answer, not first. So let's go ahead and draw this out now. So draw a number line. Nothing special, just kind of small. 3 is my solution, so I'm going to put 3 in the middle. And I'm going to do this the lazy way. I'm just going to put a 4 here and a 2 there. I don't need to draw too many different numbers. Just a 2, 3, and a 4. I'm going to have to draw a dot at 3, but should it be solid or an open dot? A solid, right? Anything that says greater than or equal to or less than or equal to gives you a solid dot. If it's just greater than or less than, it's empty. Which direction should I go if it says greater than or equal to? To the right. Remember, less is left. Try that word association. Less is left, so greater will be to the right. Okay? So, here we go. So we're done, okay? So this is just a normal type problem that you might get. Now this one's kind of on the easier side. Let me show you one of the harder ones that they could have you guys do as well. Okay? So let me move this up a bit so you guys can start writing down this next one. I'll move it up a little bit more in about 5 seconds. And it's not to say that this one's that much more difficult. It's just there's more stuff in it. So you have to just clean it up a little bit more. Okay? You do have to clean it up just a little bit more. So let me move this up. What's my first step going to be in this? Yeah, I'm going to want to distribute. I mean, does it have to be that? No, you could divide by -4 and make a bunch of fractions pop out, or you can subtract everything by 2 if you want to get rid of that plus 2. But distribution just seems to be like the easier step to go with. Okay? So, we're going to distribute these right here. So I get -2n plus 20 greater than -24 minus 8n plus 2. All right, now combine like terms. This minus 24 and this plus 2. okay, minus 24, and plus 2. So I'm going to put those together. That's going to give me minus 2n plus 20 greater than negative 24 plus 2 is a negative what? 22. Thank you, minus 8n. Now let's combine like terms with variables. So I have my negative 2n over here, my minus 8n over here. Since 8n is small, or negative 8n is smaller than negative 2n, I'm going to add 8n to both sides. So negative 2 plus 8, that's 6. So 6n plus 20 greater than negative 22. Again, remember, all we're doing is basic algebra. We're moving things left and right by adding or subtracting, right? So we're hoping that you're not going to have any struggles with those things. Now, let's get the 6n by itself. So what do I move next? The 20 by doing subtract, right? Minus 20. So that's going to give me 6n greater than negative 42. All right, almost done, and then we get to draw it. To finish this off, 6 times n, right? Got to divide. So divide by 6. Do I have to flip the symbol? No, right? I didn't divide both sides by a negative number. So it's just going to be n greater than negative 7. Okay, there's my answer. N is greater than negative 7. So I'm going to draw a number line. Again, kind of lazily. Here's a negative 7, negative 6, negative 8. Is this circle going to be a solid circle or an empty one? It says n greater than. Empty, right? And that's 7, so here we go. Which direction if it says greater? To the right. So here we go. And that's your answer. So there's your graph, and there's your numerical solution. I mean, if you can do this, you should be able to do the other stuff. The only difference now with these last two examples is that we're dealing with an and or an or situation. So if you guys remember, your or problems could either go in opposite directions, or if they go towards each other, then usually your answer is everything, the whole number line, which can happen sometimes. But about 95% of the time, they go in opposite directions. And then there's the and problem. And the and problem usually tend to go towards each other, and you look to see what they have in common. Okay, whatever they have in common, that's what you try to highlight. Okay. Now you're going to notice our or problem will literally say or on it. And then the and example that I'm going to do, which is a lot easier than this one, is not going to say the word and, but you're going to see that the inequalities are pointing in a certain direction. So just to remind you guys, this is or, and this is and. Okay? If they're pointing to the left, they're and problems. If they're pointing to the right, they're or problems. Okay? When they're all together in one compound problem. But here it's pretty obvious. They put or. So I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes. Go ahead and try solving these. I'm going to ask 2 people if they can give me one answer for one and someone else for the other. All right, anybody want to give me the answer to the one on the left? The left side. Go ahead.
I got x is less than or equal to 2.
All right. We'll take that. And what about to the one on the right? Anybody have that one? Go ahead.
X is greater than 3.
X is greater than 3. All right. So let's see if we get the same answers. So let's start off with the one on the left. We're going to have to combine our variables first. I see a 10x and a 2x. So let's move the 2x over by subtracting, okay? So I'm going to subtract both sides. And that's going to give me an 8x. Now remember, you don't have to move the variables first. You can move the numbers first. It's okay. I prefer dealing with variables first and then numbers later. But it's your own preference. Some people want to move the 5 and the 21 together first and then do the letter second. You're still going to get the same answer, so don't worry. Next, I'll move the 5. So let's subtract 5 on both sides. That gives me 16. And this is going to be 8x. And last step is to get that 8 out of there. So we're going to divide it out. And my answer is x less than or equal to 2. So that looks good. We got the correct answer there. So good. Now let's do the next one. 3x plus 10 less than 8x minus 5. Again, I like doing letters first. So 3x is going to go over to where the 8x is. So let's subtract 3x. So that gives me 10 less than 5x minus 5. Okay, 10 less than 5x minus 5. Now, I'm going to move that minus 5 over by adding 5 on both sides. So that gives me 15 is less than 5x. And last step is just to divide by 5. So we'll divide by 5 and I get 3 is less than x. If you don't want to write it like that, you can always flip everything over and that would be x and a 3 here, and it should say greater than, which looks correct from what I was told. So there you go. X less than or equal to 2, x greater than 3 are your solutions. Now I got to graph them, and these are OR problems, right? This is an OR problem. So let's see. You got to make sure that 2 and 3 are represented. So I'm going to start with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And the first one says x less than or equal to 2. Okay, remember, less than or equal to means your dot's going to be solid at 2. Since it's less than or equal to, which direction should I go? To the left, right? Remember, less is left. And then for the other one, x greater than 3, that's going to be an open circle. And greater than goes to the right. And this is going to be your answer. Okay, so x less than or equal to 2, x greater than 3, and it looks like that. Remember, ORs tend to go opposite directions, ands tend to go towards each other. So last one. I'm going to leave it like that just in case someone's still trying to copy down the graph. We have a solving graph there. Negative 20 less than negative 4v less than negative 8. So I'll give you guys about a minute and a half. Try to solve this. We'll check for answers. And just in case you're trying to figure out how you're supposed to do it, remember, take the middle and the left, and the middle and the right. That's how you break it up into your AND problem. Okay? So we'll wait right now for about a minute and a half or two. Right, anybody have an answer for the left one that hasn't already given me one yet? Left side solution. You can always go back, but nobody has an answer for the left side? Go ahead. V is less than 5. And what about the one on the right side? Go ahead. V is greater than 2. All right, so we're going to take those two and let's check them. So this shouldn't be too hard, right? We're just dividing. That's all we pretty much have to do to get those done. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. So there's a 5. Over here there's a V. And the less than should become a greater than, right? So there we go. Now, if you don't like having the V on the right side, if you'd rather it be on the left side, then just kind of switch it around. So V and the 5 goes here, and it still has to keep pointing at the letter. So here we go. V is less than 5, looks correct, so we're good. The next one, we're going to do the same thing. Divide both sides by -4. So that's going to give me a V and a 2, and my less than will become a greater than. So that looks correct as well. So we have our answers: V less than 5, V greater than 2. Now remember, this is an AND problem, okay? So I'm going to have to look for where they cross each other. I got to have the numbers 2 and 5 in there, so I'll put a 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 is a little too spaced in. So 1 through 6, my V less than 5 is going to be open. Less means left. So there you go. V less than 5, so less means left. So go to the left at 5, open circle, and then V greater than 2. So you can go to 2 greater than, open circle. Remember, if less is left, then greater has to be right. Now your job is to find out what they have in common. So they have this part right here in common from here to there. Okay? So that's all you want to draw, is just open circle, in between, open circle, and this is your solution. Now remember, on the test, you can just draw me that red one and that's fine. You don't have to show me all your work, but sometimes people want to put it all there. I did make sure to fix your quiz so that on the very bottom, your graphs show up there. So you're going to see your problem, a bunch of space, and then your graph. Not like in the homework where it was the problem and your graph, and you didn't really have a lot of space to work with it. So I tried to manipulate it, and I was able to do it through Adobe. So all right, so there you go. This is our review.